spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all.
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
We will get Georgians back to work safely.
As the clients enter, they will have their temperature taken. They will have a series of questions that they need to answer.
And I wasn't happy with it. And I wasn't happy with Brian Kemp.
People need to use common sense.
Ready or not, today is the beginning of phase 1 of reopening Georgia.
And critics say it is too soon, much too soon. Georgia lacks the proper infrastructure and supplies to lift any restrictions right now.
But some businesses have already taken this opportunity to open their doors to customers today as they take extra precautions to get back to work.
But first, not everybody on this Friday night is happy. Business owners jumping at the opportunity to open their doors. 11Alive's Caitlin Ross begins tonight's team coverage.
We've got seating out here for everybody. We have the questionnaires. We'll be taking temperatures at the door.
Andrea Vanderham is opening her Buckhead salon, Human Canvas, today, cautiously.
The announcement was a bit abrupt, so we had a short time to prepare. I will see the clients that I have scheduled, and then I will be shutting down until things are more certain.
Buckhead Salon Van Mike will also open today, only after sending a 2-page email to customers mentioning a liability waiver they would have to sign before getting service. Despite everything going on, Andrea said her customers were asking her to open.
I haven't worked in a month, so there's a line of people that feel like they really need to get a haircut.
The sounds of the salons across Atlanta were the same, with clippers buzzing and scissors snipping. It just looks a lot different now.
We have a ton of gloves. We were lucky to get the supplies that we need. I have an N95 mask on under this scarf. I will be wearing protective eyewear as well.
Not every stylist was able to get protective gear they need to open, though. Alex DeLeon owns DeLeon Barber in Buckhead and says he couldn't find the personal protective equipment required under the order.
If I were to try to take all the precautionary measures that they're asking for, that's pretty difficult. It's really hard to find masks right now. A lot of gloves are on back order. Clorox wipes, Lysol, as you know, it's nowhere to be found, so it's not easy, even if I did want it to open.
He says he won't reopen until at least May 5th, but his clients have been split on whether even that is too soon.
I definitely want to do the right thing, and I definitely want to be there for my clients, and I definitely want to make some money. So it's a conundrum for sure.
Both say sanitation is the cornerstone of cosmetology, and their salons will be as clean as possible.
We'll do our absolute best to keep everyone safe.
It's not just salons and barbershops getting the green light today. Bowling alleys, gyms, and tattoo parlors can also open. Then on Monday, movie theaters, private social clubs can reopen, and restaurants can resume dine-in service. Now, you've probably heard all of these businesses must follow state guidelines like sanitizing between customers or members. But Doug Richards is taking a closer look at what else is included that you may not realize.
The noisy drive-by protest outside the governor's mansion at midday targeted the newly enacted guidelines allowing more businesses to open in Georgia in the midst of a deadly pandemic.
Allowed to reopen on Monday.
Governor Kemp's order, issued 3 days after he announced it was coming, is 26 pages long and covers everything from restaurants and grocery stores to tattoo parlors and more. The words clean and sanitize appear in almost every section of the order. At dine-in restaurants, masks will be required for all employees. Salad bars and buffets will be discontinued. Self-service drinks and tableware will also go away. Grocery stores are required to limit patrons to 8 per 1,000 square feet and to install protective screens between customers and employees at checkout. At gyms, clientele will be temperature screened and turned away if they are feverish. Clients will be required to use sanitary wipes on equipment before and after they use it. Group classes, basketball courts, and spas will stay shut down. At movie theaters, ushers will be required to enforce social distancing. Employees will sanitize seats, armrests, and handrails between movies. Arcades and playgrounds will stay closed. At hair salons and tattoo parlors, the state wants them to be appointment only. Patrons would be required to wait outside for their appointments. Employees would wear personal protective equipment as available in workstations that are at least 10 feet apart. Bowling alleys will require employees to hand off sanitized rental shoes and loaner bowling balls, while sanitizing scorekeeping machines, tables, and chairs between each use. And the state will no longer require road tests for driver's licenses if the applicants pass the state's other tests, at least through May 13th, when the order expires.
A Metro Atlanta mother now is taking her passion to make sure that her children have enough to eat to the next level. We first met her when she paid off school lunch debt in many schools. 11Alive's Selwyn Lopez explains how she found a new way to help families during this pandemic.
And while a lot of the school districts are still providing school lunches at pickups when school's not in session right now, a lot of the families don't have access to that.
As many families walk up to drop-off points where school districts are delivering meals, others find transportation to be a challenge. Alessandra Ferrara-Miller is all too familiar with some of the struggles of students who rely on lunchtime at school as their only meal. The Gwinnett mom is the founder of All for Lunch, a nonprofit which has already paid off lunch debt in dozens of elementary schools across Metro Atlanta. And with cafeteria doors closed, has found a new way to ensure children aren't going hungry by partnering with local food pantries and co-ops.
They're having so many new families that they're servicing, where before they had the consistent ones each month. Now with a lot of people facing unemployment and jobs being shut down, they're having to service a whole new collection of families.
Delivering them directly to the doorsteps of families in Gwinnett, Forsyth, and Fulton, so transportation isn't an obstacle. Ferrara-Miller says she's already gearing up to continue to help them once cafeteria doors are open again.
When school does get back in session, we already have reserve accounts funded because there's going to be a lot of families that are now facing new financial struggles that maybe won't have the means to be funding their lunch accounts again.
Ferrara-Miller says that if you want to donate to All for Lunch, you can do so without worrying about delivery during this pandemic. They'll take care of all of that, and you can donate to your pantry of choice.
Let us know the good things you see happening around you. Use the hashtag #SendTheLoveATL or email us, Where Atlanta Speaks, at 11alive.com.
11Alive is Where Atlanta Speaks, and the plan to reopen certain businesses impacts more than just the owners and workers there. Tonight, our LaTasha Givens is giving you a chance to weigh in.
Well, we wanted to hear from you. How are you feeling about businesses reopening? In the last 24 hours, Georgians from all over the state left us very passionate messages on a Google voicemail number we set up just to hear your stories.
Good evening, James Hodges from Mapleton, Georgia.
Hi, my name is Patricia. I'm from Austell, Georgia.
My name is Sina Goldberg.
My name is Ed Kowalski.
Totally disagree with opening up the state.
And I am in support of opening Georgia back up.
I'm just having a hard time understanding how we're going to open on the 24th of April when there's a stay in place in effect until the 30th of April.
Or it's time they need to get back to work, and they also need to practice social distance.
My name is Nancy. I am a disabled hairstylist.
I've been for 2, 3, 4 weeks trying to secure myself a face mask. I think it's crazy to be opening up these businesses that really depend on close contact.
Our governor is putting many, many lives at stake here. A hairstylist cannot back off of their clients.
This is James Burnett.
Tattoo parlors, massage parlors, bowling alleys. Those were the worst businesses to pick.
The idea of reopening these small businesses and all people walking around to spread this, there is no evidence that the curve has been reached, let alone starting to come down.
If they don't feel safe in a beauty shop, then don't go. What's the big deal?
My thing is, at 59, I'm going to use common sense. No, I will not indulge in the nonsense because, first of all, you haven't even shown me a vaccine/cure for this epidemic. That's what's crazy. So people need to use common sense.
God bless everyone. Keep everyone safe and healthy.
11Alive is where Atlanta speaks. Your voice is important, and we want to include it in the conversation. Let us know what you think by calling and leaving a message at 678-765-9514. And be sure to include your name, where you're calling from, and how we can reach you. We may share part of your message on air.
Georgia Democrat Stacey Abrams has some strong words for Governor Brian Kemp on reopening. Next in prime time, why she fears his move could put lives at risk.
We're keeping an eye on showers and storms out to the west. Stay with us. We'll let you know if this system will make it our way and bring us any rain for the weekend.
Gyms, barbers, stylists, nail care salons, massages now open for business. Some people say that it is too risky, that we should continue shelter in place. As we go to break, we want to know, do you plan to visit any businesses that are reopening? You can vote on 11alive.com.
And don't forget, we are streaming all 3 hours of prime time right now on the 11Alive YouTube channel. You can subscribe and join the conversation in the community section. There's more 11Alive News prime time after this.
Safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers. The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Prime Time, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Stacey Abrams with a message last night on 11Alive, talking with Faith Abubey. Just because places can open doesn't mean that they should. Reveal investigator Faith Abubey spoke, of course, with her this week about Governor Kemp's decision. And Abrams says it is putting lives at risk, in her opinion.
That this remains a dangerously incompetent decision that is grounded in personal politics and not in science.
Former candidate for governor Stacey Abrams doubling down on her sharp criticism of Governor Brian Kemp. This just hours before a controversial plan to reopen some of Georgia's businesses.
I can't speak to his rationale. I will tell you that the proximity of Donald Trump calling for liberation of states and Brian Kemp calling for the reopening of our state is too close for coincidence. Brian Kemp wanted to be seen doing something. And unfortunately, instead of doing his job of protecting Georgians, he's putting them at risk.
In just the last month, state data shows Georgia has processed more than 1 million unemployment claims. Nearly 40% of those claims came from people in industries the governor is now allowing to reopen.
The reason that we shut these businesses in the first place was to help us flatten the curve and get on the other side of this thing.
I can tell you that he does not seem to be motivated by the truth, by the facts, and by the science.
Even as infectious diseases experts disagree, Governor Kemp has maintained the data is on his side to start reopening Georgia. Abrams says the move will only serve to endanger the poorest and most vulnerable, even if can open doesn't mean should open.
And look, this is not a mandate for them to open their business.
The reality is that there are going to be some desperate business owners who can open their businesses but not show up. They can send those low-wage workers to be on the front lines. They can send those folks to stand and touch and put themselves at risk.
Faith also spoke with Ms. Abrams about her future in politics. A lot of reports that she is on the short list to become former Vice President Joe Biden's running mate.
I've gotten this question a few times, and I will say again, I have been honored to have my name lifted up. I appreciate the fact that my resume and the work that I've done has brought me to the attention of the Vice President.
Ms. Abrams tells Faith that she would be honored to be chosen, but couldn't say when she and Joe Biden last spoke. Earlier today, I spoke with Meet the Press moderator and czar Chuck Todd about the tension between the governor and the president. We will bring you that conversation and potential political fallout from the decision to reopen coming up in the next half hour of prime time.
Here are 3 other headlines that you may have missed today. First, an investigation has been launched into the racist text message sent to Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. Earlier this week, Mayor Bottoms tweeted this photo. It shows a text message where someone called her a racial slur. The sender then wrote to just shut up and reopen Atlanta. The message came just hours after Mayor Bottoms expressed her concerns about reopening the state too soon. State Democrats also claim the racist message was delivered from an official state email address. In response, Attorney General Chris Carr has opened an investigation. And President Trump signed the $484 billion coronavirus relief bill into law. The bill includes more than $320 billion for the Paycheck Protection Program, and the bill will also provide $60 billion for the small businesses, $75 billion for hospitals, and $25 billion for coronavirus testing. A new warning from the FDA. The agency is cautioning doctors against prescribing hydrochloroquine to patients with COVID-19. The drug is often combined with the antibiotic Z-Pak. According to the FDA, there are reports of serious heart rhythm problems in those who were treated with the drugs. The FDA also says it was aware of increased use of the medications through outpatient prescriptions. The drug can still be used, but the FDA urges that it be used only in hospital settings or in clinical trials.
The 11Alive storm trackers are keeping an eye on some showers and storms that are out to the west. So far, they have prompted severe thunderstorm watches and tornado watches well out to the west. And you can see that tan color right there. That is the level 3 risk, or the enhanced risk for severe storms. And they're already dealing with severe storms there now. This system is going to push to the east. However, it is going to weaken as it gets closer to us. Take a look at what we can expect for tomorrow. Now, the Storm Prediction Center has placed areas along I-20 and northward in what is called the marginal risk. That's the level 1 of 5 risk, meaning There will only be a few isolated stronger storms, and any of those that develop could have some wind gusts, heavy rain, or maybe even some small hail that might trigger 1 or 2 severe thunderstorm warnings over far north Georgia. But we really think that those showers are going to be few and far between. It's not going to be very widespread at all as the system moves in. In fact, those showers are going to be pretty isolated. Take a look over the next 12 hours at what we're going to be expecting here. Temperatures in the 60s through the rest of the evening, and then they fall into the 50s after midnight. By tomorrow morning, we wake up around 53 degrees, then get up to 79 in the afternoon. Folks, that's going to be close to 80 degrees here. We're going to go with the 7 on the wasometer, that mixture of sunshine and clouds, and that chance, about a 30% chance for some of those scattered showers that'll be moving through the area. In fact, here's the timeline. Tonight, looking good. We'll see just a couple of spotty clouds around as they'll be breaking up a good bit. And then tomorrow morning, we're dry. Once we get into the lunchtime hour, still dry, but a few clouds. See that southerly flow? That's what's helping to warm us up into the upper 70s to near 80 degrees. But you don't see a lot of rain here. That system to the north is going to kind of clip parts of North Georgia. As it does, it may kick off just a few isolated showers. And again, the ones that develop could be severe, but it's not going to be widespread at all. We don't have a big time severe weather threat. On Sunday, another day with a mixture of sunshine and clouds. Going to be looking pretty nice out there, and a little cooler on your Sunday as well. So here's the 7-day outlook. We'll see that low rain chance Saturday. Warm though, cooler on Sunday with a mix of sun and clouds and 71. We're down to 48 Monday morning with a high of 72. Warming to 77 Tuesday as clouds build in again ahead of the next system that brings us some showers and storms on Wednesday. And then Thursday, partly cloudy and a fewer clouds on Friday with high temperatures in the mid-70s as we round out the end of next week.
Chris, thank you. A bookstore owner in East Atlanta decided to stay close, and she is offering free book delivery, sanitizing suggestions, and an emotional outlet for many if needed.
Any book that feels smooth and a little bit waxy on the cover maybe, or like hard and slick, can usually be wiped down without damage to the book. Some people feel better taking off the dust jacket and then washing their hands really well, because the dust jacket is, if it comes off, if it's a hardback book, is all I've really touched. For some people, they feel better quarantining the book for 72 hours and then touching it. So I realized I was going to need to close the sales floor, and I kind of assumed it might only be for about 2 weeks. And then I began to realize, like the same day that I made the decision to close the floor, that I was going to have to do something to be able to continue to sell books. Started the slow process of loading some of our stock online through our shop tab on the website, but also people just started reaching out to me. I think that people are really needing to look outside themselves in their current situation. I think that what's going on in our world right now at different levels for different people is traumatic. And I think when people are experiencing trauma on any level, they shut down. And I think that reading a book allows you access to someone else's story and gives you access to catharsis for your own feelings, because you see them played out in another story, and so you can access what you're really feeling.
And to find out how you can get a book delivered and see their inventory, go to myeastatlantanews.com.
Next on Primetime, DIY cures to the coronavirus. Our Verify team is here to separate fact from fiction after the break.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews.
The Verify team is here to shut down misinformation on social media. And we've been busy. Our inbox has been filling up with questions about some of these do-it-yourself remedies that are spreading online. So let's take a look at 2 of these viral claims to find out if they're true. Question 1. Let's verify, will drinking hot lemon water with baking soda kill the virus? To find out, we contacted one of our sources, a microbiology expert at the George Washington University's School of Medicine and Health Sciences. He tells us that coronavirus attacks your respiratory system as a whole, including the cells in your throat. And lemon water just doesn't have the power to reverse that.
A free-floating virus at that point in throat is very, very little. The most of the virus is inside the cells. The drink cannot penetrate in the cells and kill the virus.
We also looked to the CDC and the WHO, neither of which had any evidence that this would work. So we can verify. This one is false. Okay, what about this online claim? Does blow drying your nostrils kill the virus? And this might sound a little out there, but online people are swearing that this works. Our expert says no. He says that would not be an effective way to kill the virus, and neither the CDC nor the WHO have pegged this as a possible treatment. The CDC says the best way to protect yourself is to stick to the basics. Wash your hands with soap and water, use hand sanitizer, avoid touching your face, and practice social distancing.
Well, as always, if you have something you'd like for us to verify, you can send it to us on Facebook, Twitter, or by email at verify@11alive.com.
An Atlanta nursing home resident battling COVID-19. Next on Primetime, an exclusive 11Alive investigation into her family's struggle to see if she is okay.
Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Yeah, I've had a great conversation with President Trump, also talked to the Vice President.
And I wasn't happy with it, and I wasn't happy with Brian Kemp.
President Trump saying he disagrees with the timing of opening certain businesses in Georgia. Joining me right now is the moderator of Meet the Press, Chuck Todd. Chuck, the president endorsed Brian Kemp for governor over Casey Cagle here, which was a surprise. But there was clearly a disagreement over the Senate appointment of Kelly Loeffler while the president was pushing the congressman who had supported him during impeachment, Doug Collins. Another example here of a relationship that seemingly has never really gotten off the ground from what we have seen with opening Georgia for business.
I think that's a fair way to put it. It's a reminder that sometimes presidential loyalty runs one way. And I think that what's really sort of odd about the backstory we're getting on this, Jeff, is that Governor Kemp thought he had sign-off from the president and vice president on this. And then apparently the scientists on the task force were uncomfortable with how quickly Georgia was moving, wanted to make their case to the president, then seemed to convince the president that maybe things were moving too soon. But what's unclear is why there wasn't an attempt to maybe do something behind the scenes first and instead create this sort of odd political dynamic. So, look, I think that's just par for the course when you as more and more people learn that when loyalty with Trump sometimes is a one-way street here. But I tell you, it is certainly, I think it has caused a lot more confusion within Georgia political circles than even the disagreement that we'd already seen between, say, the governor and some of these mayors.
All right, Chuck Todd, thank you. Meet the Press Sundays, 10 a.m. right here on 11Alive. Have a great weekend. Thanks.
As COVID-19 testing becomes more available in Georgia, reported infections are rising in long-term care facilities. As of Wednesday, at least 185 nursing homes had active cases in our state. And look at this data this week. Nearly 2,400 people who live in these facilities have tested positive. About 1,200 staff members at these centers have also tested positive, and about 360 residents have died from the virus. In an 11Alive exclusive reveal investigation, Andy Parati explains why the pandemic could make it difficult for families to hold facilities accountable if they suspect a neglect.
Hattie Lester's family says she's the social butterfly of the Sadie Mays Rehabilitation Center.
And she talks to everybody, so everybody knows Miss Lester.
Natasha Miller is her daughter. The Atlanta facility quarantined residents to their rooms in mid-March in response to the pandemic. But her 57-year-old mother told her she was still allowed to walk the halls. A short time later, Miss Lester developed a cough, and then there were rumors an employee contracted the coronavirus.
And I said, what? And I said, well, nobody's called me.
About a week later, Miller did get a call. News she was dreading left on a 15-second voicemail.
Hello, this is Pam from Sadie Mays, calling to inform you that Miss Lester has been moved to Area C because she tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. You can give us a call back. Thank you.
At least 30 other residents tested positive.
She panicked, she freaked out, she was crying uncontrollably.
Ms. Lester suffers from diabetes, liver problems, and mental illness.
Knowing that your mom has this and she has pre-existing conditions, what's going through your mind right now?
Is my mom gonna be okay? Is she gonna make it? Because I can't get down there. I can't get a clear answer. Like, what's really going on with her?
Sadie Mays is managed by Pruitt Health. It's the largest nursing home provider in the state. At least 17 of its 100-plus facilities have active COVID-19 cases. Neil Pruitt is its CEO.
You know, first of all, our heart goes out to anyone who's suffering from this terrible virus.
Pruitt has developed an online portal for the public to identify the number of positive COVID patients, pending tests, and those who have recovered at each facility.
So when you see the numbers appear on our website, to us, that's a good thing. That gives us the tools we need to fight this virus.
I give a double thumbs up to Pruitt for what they're accomplishing.
Brian Lee is the executive director of Families for Better Care, an advocacy organization.
I think the people should follow their lead. I think all providers should follow their lead. I mean, really, they should have nothing to hide.
While Lee praises Pruitt's coronavirus transparency numbers, he's still worried about resident safety. Georgia has suspended annual nursing home inspections, family visitations, and most facilities are struggling with severe staffing shortages.
All of that combined has been kind of a recipe for disaster in these places right now.
If families do suspect neglect, it could be difficult to seek damages. Last week, Georgia's governor signed an executive order limiting the type of lawsuits that can be filed against nursing homes. Trial attorneys believe it makes owners immune to accountability.
I couldn't believe it, that they would seize on an opportunity during the middle of this crisis to make that kind of a petition for their own self-preservation.
Did you personally reach out to the governor's office requesting that?
I think all healthcare providers are requesting that in every single state that we operate in.
I just want them to be honest and that they're gonna do their best to make sure that nobody dies from this disease.
At last check, Miss Lester was on the mend. Georgia nursing homes are still admitting new residents inside their facilities during the pandemic. Pruitt treating those people as if they had the virus. The company has also ordered about 4,000 antibody tests that they hope will help them identify who's had the virus. For a complete list of the CDC guidelines your nursing home should be following, go to this story on 11alive.com.
Many of you are dealing with unprecedented financial and economic hardships during this time, and we have consulted our financial expert, Andrew Poulos, to help you navigate through some of your difficult situations. Viewer Tina wrote to us saying, I am self-employed and own a hair salon. I don't think it's safe for me to reopen right now. Will I still receive my unemployment?
As long as Tina is out of work or has her business closed, she can continue to remain on unemployment. Just always remember, this is a week-to-week filing, so every week that she's not at work, she just needs to file for her claim to continue receiving unemployment. But there's nothing right now that's mandating business owners to open up or go back to work if they just don't deem it safe.
Vanessa wants to know regarding the CARES Act, under what condition can you withdraw money from your retirement account? Will it be taxed? Are you required to take your scheduled distributions or required minimum distributions?
There's a wide range of circumstances that qualifies you to tap into your retirement account. If you've been affected by COVID, whether you're at home quarantining, you have a loved one basically who's been affected, if you've been affected financially. So there's just a broad range, which they're all online, listed on the Treasury site. Now, as far as distributions, if you're age 70 and a half last year and you're required to take a required minimum distribution this year, that has been removed from legislation, so you don't have to take a required minimum distribution. If you pull money out of your retirement account as an early withdrawal, and normally you have a 10% penalty that would apply, that will no longer apply either, and you can take a distribution up to $100,000 between now and the end of the year without the penalty.
And finally, from Samuel asking, I have been out of work for 5 weeks now and have not received any unemployment benefits as of yet. I was approved for $200 a week. I call and email with no response back. My PIN number was suspended and I cannot log in to claim my weekly benefits. Any advice?
A couple things. One, I would try to reach out to the Labor Department very early in the morning when their lines open. They're inundated with calls and emails. Of course, I think we all know that at this point. They're doing the best they can. So I would reach out early in the morning, see if you can get through. I would also reach out if you're on social media, on Twitter. Commissioner's on there, and he does a great job of responding to people and trying to help people. So I would reach out. I think it's Butler for Georgia as his Twitter handle, and I've seen folks who reach out to him who are getting help. He's trying to do the best he can along with everyone else. So try to just unconventional methods.
Well, you can send your questions for our experts at any time. We will work to get them answered for you. Text us your financial, legal, medical questions to the number there on your screen. It's 404-885-7600. That's a text, not a call.
Well, the Falcons making moves in the second round of the NFL draft tonight. They take Marlon Davidson, 300-pound defensive lineman from Auburn, 47th overall pick. I really like this pick. I think this is a really good pick. May have to lose a little bit of weight there to get down in the NFL, but man, I think this is a terrific pick. Last night at number 16, they ended up drafting A.J. Terrell, who is from Westlake High School here in Atlanta. Maria Martin tells us how the highs and lows of his football career as a young man has prepared him for the absolute Mount Everest of last night.
And I asked you if it was your dream to play in Atlanta, and you said yes.
Yeah, I was nervous when I got the call. My hands sweating, ready to throw the hat, just represent.
A.J. Terrell's lifelong dream has been to play for the Falcons.
The Atlanta Falcons select A.J. Terrell, defensive back, Clemson.
Dreams coming to reality, and trying to put in work now.
Just 20 minutes down the road from Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Terrell played at Westlake High School.
It means a lot, definitely for my high school.
Westlake's coach at the time, Kareem Reed, saw Terrell's potential from the start.
From the first time I, really saw him play, and then when I got to know him as a kid, I knew right away he was different.
He comes from a competitive family. His sister, a track standout. His younger brother, following in his footsteps at his high school alma mater.
They need to bottle whatever they feeding those kids and sell it because, they can't miss.
He's come a long way from his Westlake days, signing to the Clemson Tigers and finding the spotlight with one big play.
Third throw in 3 plays, it's intercepted!
He's fast, physical, but still has a lot of room to learn, and his final game at Clemson was against Joe Burrow and the LSU Tigers. That didn't go so well.
Just ready to get back to work, ready for another game.
Now, he must prepare for an NFC South that features quarterbacks like Tom Brady and Drew Brees.
They're going to get my best out there while I'm on the field, so they got to earn my respect.
And now there's pressure of playing in his hometown. He'll have his family and his old coach
Continue to be just who you are.
ready to back him up.
Do I have to pay my rent? A question many are asking. Next on Primetime, we take a closer look at renters' rights during the COVID-19 pandemic.
We're watching a system out to the west moving our way, and that has prompted a level 1 storm risk for parts of North Georgia. We'll break this down for you coming up.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
To follow a stay-at-home order, you need to stay in, and you need a home to do it. So the city of Atlanta banned evictions for 60 days. The federal government did the same for certain housing units that accept federal money. That provided peace for a while, but we're getting closer to the end of those eviction bans. So Christy Diaz is taking a look at what happens next.
The biggest relief for renters during the coronavirus pandemic is the fact that courtrooms are closed.
Landlords are still filing evictions, but they're not being served and they're not being heard by the court at this time.
But that won't last forever. And when the ban on evictions runs out,
but we expect that there's going to be a crush of cases once that judicial emergency expires.
Aaron Willoughby with Atlanta Legal Aid says they're seeing a rise in illegal evictions.
What are the kind of calls and cases that you're seeing specifically right now?
Our landlords are getting frustrated because they can't file, they can't go through the courts, so they simply tell people, I'm going to change the lock.
Of course, that's not allowed, and Aaron says they have a video explaining what to do in that situation on their website. But Georgia Apartment Association President Jim Fowler says landlords aren't always the bad guy.
Our folks aren't these greedy landlords. They're in the business of providing housing for fellow human beings. These are folks that care about mankind.
And right now, they need help too.
Apartment communities are at risk if the owners can't meet their obligations and make their payments.
And it's not good for anybody. If you can't pay the mortgage, then everybody's out of a home.
That's exactly right.
Nearly 37% of households in the state are rentals. That number is more than 50 in Atlanta. And Jim says of their 400 members, anywhere from 10 to 30% are in delinquency right now. The hard truth is that everyone is struggling. And Jim says the real stress test will come May 1st.
It could get real interesting here in the next 3 weeks, depending on how many people can't pay their rent.
We expect to see an increase in the population of people who are sort of one step away from homelessness.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Trackers. There's a storm system out west that is causing severe weather tonight, impacting areas of eastern Texas, eastern Oklahoma, western parts of Arkansas, and northern parts of Louisiana. That's where we have an enhanced risk, or a level 3 of 5 risk for severe storms. They have some watches and even some warnings out there in those areas now. And I know you're looking at this stuff out west thinking, okay, is this moving our way for the weekend? Well, yes and no. All right, it is coming our way, but it is going to be a lot weaker by the time it gets here into our area. In fact, you can see a marginal risk tomorrow, roughly along I-20 and Northward. I don't want you to be too overly concerned about this. It's not going to be a widespread severe weather event. We're just talking about a few isolated showers that could develop here that have the potential for some wind gusts, heavy rain, or maybe even some small hail in association with some of those showers. But it's not going to be a widespread severe weather event at all, just some spotty showers that we're going to be having around. Now, did you notice today, and really this week, It's been a little nicer to breathe the air out there with not as much pollen. Today's pollen count was 39. The main pollens present are pine, oak, hickory, ash, and birch. And then grasses and weeds are low. Mold is in the moderate range. And I think you might like the trends that we've been dealing with this week. On Tuesday, we were at 122. We went up a little bit to 345 on Wednesday. Now, yeah, that's the highest count that we've had this week, but it's not like the thousands that we had at the beginning of the month and at the end of March. Today, or actually yesterday, 84. Today, down to 39. That's not bad at all. We like seeing those trends. Here's a look at your almanac for today. High of 72. We should be around 75 for this time of year, so we were a little bit below average. And an update on that rain surplus, more than 14.5 inches above where we should be in rainfall for the year. Here's what we're going to be watching during the day tomorrow. We start off with temperatures in the lower 60s at 9. Now, I do think we'll get into the 50s once we get into the early morning hours. We're up to 62 at 9, then 68 at 11, 70s around noontime and after. And there you see these temperatures really warming up to close to 80 degrees in the afternoon with that mix of sun and clouds. And I really think that better rain chance is going to be in North Georgia. So here's a look at your headlines. Storms mainly north on Saturday. It'll be cooler on Sunday, and then we're watching some showers that will return once we get toward the middle of the week. A 7 on the wasometer. High temperatures, yeah, really warm there at 79 degrees. Here's the forecast for the rest of the 7-day period. 79 Saturday, 30% chance for showers. I really think those chances are higher up in North Georgia. A mix of sun and clouds Sunday, but cooler. And then we're going to be at about 72 Monday. That's after a morning low of 48. 77 Tuesday, and then rain chances come back on Wednesday, maybe some storms around before we clear out again on Thursday and Friday with high temperatures in the mid-70s.
Coming up next, President Trump called his comments about ingesting disinfectants sarcasm. Next on Primetime, our Verify team confirms whether it is a safe practice or not.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during Primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on...
Did President Trump suggest injecting household disinfectants to fight coronavirus? Can we inject household disinfectants to fight COVID-19? There's confusion about the questions after the statements from the president on Thursday, and we've had our Verify team breaking down what he said and whether it is a safe practice.
Dozens of articles have claimed that President Trump suggested people could inject disinfectant to combat the coronavirus. There are two questions we want to verify. First, did the president say this? And second, is this actually safe? Let's start with the press conference Thursday. Before the clip in question, DHS Secretary William Bryan presented new research about bleach and isopropyl alcohol killing the coronavirus. Shortly after, President Trump said this.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me.
So yes, we can verify President Trump did talk about injecting disinfectants. But it's important to note, later in the same briefing, the president clarified with this.
So how do you simplify injection? We're talking about almost a cleaning, sterilization of an area. Right. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work.
And on Friday, he told reporters the comment was made sarcastically.
Interior-wise, it's said sarcastically. It was put in the form of a question.
So some conflicting statements about injecting disinfectants. We can't verify what the president meant to say. What we can verify is whether it's safe to inject disinfectants or use them internally. The answer is no. The makers of Lysol, Reckitt Benckiser, put out a statement that, quote, under no circumstance should their disinfectants be used internally. And the American Cleaning Institute, an association of more than 100 manufacturers, said disinfectants should be used on hard surfaces only, not ingested, injected, or used on the skin. The EPA has a list of cleaners that are known to destroy the coronavirus. They say to follow the labels on cleaners for safe use and that the cleaners are, quote, for use on surfaces, not humans. Bottom line, there might be debate over what the president meant, but one thing is definitely clear. You should not inject or ingest disinfectants under any circumstance.
Senior communities aren't allowing visitors right now, leaving many feeling isolated from their friends and families. Next on Primetime, how one facility came up with a new way to stay connected.
Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Social distancing has been an adjustment for us all, but for seniors and families, the separation came early. And here in Georgia, Governor Kemp says seniors should continue to shelter in place until May 13th. But as Liza Lucas shares, one Atlanta-based senior community has a solution to keep families connected in the weeks to come.
My dad will be 89 this year, and he is in Georgia Lakeside and moved in there in January, actually, with my mom.
Colleen Ristall's dad has not been a Thrive resident for long, but with his move came a lot of change. He lost his wife of more than 60 years to cancer, and then came COVID-19.
They came in and told us what was happening and that we were going to have to leave, which, was heartbreaking, but we understood, he's got heart disease and, we needed to keep him safe.
We made some tough decisions really early on in this process to shut all of our buildings to visitors.
Despite knowing it was the right call, Thrive Senior Living founder Jeremy Ragsdale saw families heartbreak and decided to do something about it.
Not the most handy person in the world, but my dad has a woodworking shop. So we jumped in there and ended up creating a polycarbonate glass panel that rolls around. We can move it in and out, and we custom built them to fit inside the front doors of each one of our communities and create a venue where residents and their families can visit in a safe way.
Hello. Hey!
The resulting reunions emotional. A gift Colleen says she and her siblings are grateful for.
He came walking in and a big smile on his face and just looked great.
The Thrive team now working to install panels in all of its communities.
Our teams are booking time windows for families to visit with residents all day, every day.
The look on his face when he sees me and, when I'm leaving every time, he says, "Thank you so much for coming, Colleen." And I said, "Oh, so it's the best part of my day, Dad."
Wonderful idea there. The Thrive Senior Living team even posted the prototype plans on their website in hopes that the idea is replicated in other communities as well.
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
I definitely want to do the right thing, and I definitely want to do it for my clients, and I definitely want to make some money. So it's a conundrum.
I haven't worked in a month, so there's a line of people that feel like they really need to get a haircut.
It has been decision day for some business owners, employees, and for anyone making the personal choice whether to go to the businesses now allowed to reopen under Governor Kemp's executive order. For hair salons, tattoo shops, and bowling alleys, reopening comes with an extensive set of restrictions. The hope, keeping people safe while restarting the economy. But are people following those rules?
We checked in with several gym owners who are still trying to figure all this out, Aisha. Caitlin Ross has more on why some are choosing not to open.
There's no playbook here. We're all learning as we go here.
Orange Theory franchise owner Jamie Weeks doesn't know when they'll reopen their studios.
When we found out Monday that the state was going to reopen, I got to tell you, we were a little shocked.
But it won't be today. They closed Orange Theory a week before the governor mandated it, and Weeks says they likely won't open until long after they're allowed.
Our members have been very, very vocal about that they're not ready, and our staff is as well.
Some gyms that announced they would open almost immediately regretted it. Naya Med Spa and LA Fitness both sent letters to their members saying they would push back reopening after receiving strong feedback against it. Many gyms, though, still chose to reopen. Here's Gold Gym explaining its safety procedures.
Our personal trainers will actually be carrying a spray bottle with them at all times. If they see somebody that didn't do it properly, they can obviously talk to them and educate and coach them, but they can also go behind them and spray themselves.
But Weeks with Orange Theory says their members will need to wait a little while longer.
We need to have a complete respect for everyone's opinion and a complete respect for the scientists and the data that's coming out, and which is why we're going to take our time and do what's in the best interest of our members and staff.
The state gives a long list of rules for businesses to reopen, such as sanitizing things between customers and members, but some are not that obvious and some are a little different. For example, at dine-in restaurants, masks will be required for all employees. Salad bars and buffets will be discontinued, and also can't use drink machines. You can't use drink machines, and no more tableware that customers can just grab. And hair salons and tattoo parlors, the state wants it to be appointment only, and customers are going to have to wait outside. Employees must wear personal protective equipment as available at workstations and that are at least 10 feet apart. Now, there are also guidelines for daycare centers, bowling alleys, and fitness centers, and you can find them all on our website at 11alive.com.
Other states are watching Georgia closely. Georgia was one of the last states to shelter in place. Now, one of the first to start reopening, a move President Trump criticized publicly. The president reiterated that again today, saying he did not okay the governor's decision to start reopening these businesses. He says Georgia should have gone slower. Among Governor Kemp's supporters, though, both Georgia U.S. Senators Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue, they say it's time to get the economy going again. And even as businesses start to open, the state says it's working to set up and improve measures that could help to slow the spread of COVID-19, contact tracing, and more testing. So today, the state, along with the Augusta University and the National Guard, opened 3 new Metro Atlanta drive-through testing clinics. You have to be screened first. Results are expected in 72 hours or less. The state also continues to search for more people to work as contact tracers. Contact tracing involves talking with everyone who recently came in contact with an infected person. The goal is to have those people quarantined and tested. The Georgia Department of Public Health says they have a team of epidemiologists all across the state who've already used contact tracing for STDs, HIV, and other viruses. Now, they're hiring college students or grad in medical fields as interns to be trained as contact tracers. The workload for each case can vary widely.
Some individuals have really followed the public health precautions and sheltered in place, stayed at home. And that makes contact tracing very, very easy because the opportunities for transmission of the virus are very, very few.
Each case can take anywhere from 30 minutes to more than a day to investigate. The state has not released numbers on how many tracers they currently have or want to hire. A DPH spokeswoman says the number of tracers will vary across the state depending on the number of confirmed cases in an area. Today, Atlanta's mayor shared stats of cases in the city, continuing to push against the state's decision to start the process of reopening. She's been encouraging people to please stay home. Today, we also learned the state's attorney general's office has opened an investigation into a racist message sent to Mayor Bottoms telling her to reopen Atlanta. She says the same racial slur was sent to her 12-year-old son. The message led to a national outpouring of support for the mayor. People saying people may disagree with her stance on reopening, but hate and racism, it just can't be tolerated. Today, the president signed off a $484 billion coronavirus relief bill. It includes $320 billion for the Paycheck Protection Program for small businesses after the program ran out of money 2 weeks after it launched. This bill also sets aside money for businesses that don't have established relationships with the bank. Many minority-owned businesses say they were being shut out of the fund for that reason. It also includes money for testing and hospitals. Money for state and local governments was not included in the bill. It's something Democrats wanted. President Trump says he is open to the idea of giving states some relief, but he noted some states had budget problems before the pandemic started. Our state is one of them. Back in August, Governor Kemp had already asked state agencies to find a way to cut spending to make up for a shortfall. And with 1 in 10 Georgians now filing for unemployment, there could soon be even more of a strain. Department of Labor Commissioner Mark Butler saying at this rate, we could run out of unemployment benefit reserves in the next 6 months. Both parties have said this new bill is an interim fix, meaning more extensive relief legislation could be on the way.
Some doctors in Metro Atlanta are really concerned tonight. They haven't heard as much about the other health emergencies like heart attacks and strokes since this pandemic began. Reveal investigator Faith Abube saying many of them are now sounding the alarm.
I was baking banana bread and I started to feel like some chest discomfort.
Danielle Denlin remembers it like it was yesterday and not 12 years ago.
It kind of felt like heartburn at first.
Next thing she knew, she was in the back of an ambulance. Denlin was having a heart attack at just 35 years old.
Having a baby and then having a heart attack 5 days later, when you're completely healthy, this massive heart attack came out of nowhere.
Had her symptoms appeared in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, she says she would have been concerned about going to the hospital so soon.
And that's the last place I want to end up. But I know for sure it wouldn't be an option. Had I not called 911, I 100% would have died.
But anecdotally, cardiologists and other doctors are reporting an alarming trend in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. Doctors, including Wellstar's Dr. Barry Mangle, say the number of patients coming into hospital emergency rooms for strokes, heart attacks, and other emergencies have dropped significantly.
Across the country and really across the world, a lot of informal polls have suggested to us that there's about a 40 to 60% reduction in some of the emergencies that we normally see, including heart attacks and strokes.
Under normal circumstances, that would be good news. But doctors don't believe the drop is because there are fewer emergencies happening.
It's our concern that people may be staying home rather than risk coming to the hospital during the COVID pandemic.
This is also evident by some of the stories that we're hearing from physicians and nurses of patients coming into the ER, and they actually have had episodes a day, 2 days, 3 days.
Kristen Kyle with the Georgia chapter of the American Heart Association says, with heart attacks, time is critical. The longer you wait, the more heart muscle you lose, and it can't be recovered.
It's a concern for sure.
Just ask Danielle, who did everything right, and still.
I ended up losing 40% of my heart muscle because it took that long technically to get to the hospital, and every minute counts.
These are emergencies. These are not, paper cuts. They are not twisted ankles. Emergencies just don't stop for COVID-19. So the message is really know the signs and symptoms and call 911 if you or a family member or friend are experiencing those.
Well, the symptoms can vary, but some of the most common ones are a drooping face, arm weakness or numbness, and speech difficulty. And if all of that is happening or any of those symptoms, you're urged to call 911 immediately.
A Metro Atlanta mom is taking her passion to make sure kids have enough to eat to the next level. We first met her when she had paid off school lunch debt in many local schools. 11Alive's Elwin Lopez explains how she found a new way to help families during the COVID-19 pandemic.
And while a lot of the school districts are still providing school lunches at pickups when school's not in session right now, a lot of the families don't have access to that.
As many families walk up to drop-off points where school districts are delivering meals, others find transportation to be a challenge. Alessandra Ferrara-Miller is all too familiar with some of the struggles of students who rely on lunchtime at school as their only meal. The Gwinnett mom is the founder of All for Lunch, a nonprofit which has already paid off lunch debt in dozens of elementary schools across Metro Atlanta. And with cafeteria doors closed, has found a new way to ensure children aren't going hungry by partnering with local food pantries and co-ops.
They're having so many new families that they're servicing, where before they had the consistent ones each month. Now with a lot of people facing unemployment and jobs being shut down, they're having to service a whole new collection of families.
Delivering them directly to the doorsteps of families in Gwinnett, Forsyth, and Fulton, so transportation isn't an obstacle. Ferrara-Miller says she's already gearing up to continue to help them once cafeteria doors are open again.
When school does get back in session, we already have reserve accounts funded because there's going to be a lot of families that are now facing new financial struggles that maybe won't have the means to be funding their lunch accounts again.
Ferrara-Miller says that if you want to donate to All for Lunch, you can do so without worrying about delivery during this pandemic. They'll take care of all of that, and you can donate to your pantry of choice.
Let us know the good things you see happening around you. Use the hashtag #SendTheLoveATL or send an email to WhereAtlantaSpeaks@11alive.com. Gay men recovering from COVID-19 say they want to help others, but a discriminatory policy is keeping them from doing so. Next on Primetime, the renewed push for change.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Trackers, back in the basement Storm Tracker Center again tonight, where we have no rain in our area now, but look out to the west. Yeah, we've got another round of storms, some of those causing severe weather. Stay with us. I'm going to track it and let you know what happens as it moves closer to Georgia.
Gyms, barbers, and stylists, nail care salons, massages are now open for business, but some people we spoke with say they will continue to shelter in place. As we go to break, we want you to know, do you plan to visit any of these businesses that are reopening today? You can vote right now on 11alive.com. And don't forget, we are streaming all 3 hours of Primetime right now on the 11Alive YouTube channel. Subscribe and join the conversation in the community section. We've got more 11Alive news in Primetime after the break.
Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Tricia said, yeah, thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. Scientists desperately need plasma from recovered COVID-19 patients to help treat people who are still fighting that virus as we speak. But the feds are preventing some of the healthy and willing people from donating. 11Alive Reveal investigator Andy Parati explains why most gay men cannot donate, and more of the Entertainment Network hosts speaking out about the policy that discriminates.
You know, many people who have recovered from the virus are trying to do their part to help. Andy Cohen, the host of Watch What Happens Now on Bravo, is one of them. Cohen recently recovered from COVID-19, and last night he ended his show by saying he enrolled into a program to start donating his plasma so a lab could use his antibodies to treat the sick. But he says when they learned he was gay, he was turned away.
Why are members from my community being excluded from helping out when so many people are sick and dying? Maybe because we're valuing stigma over science. I don't know.
This actually happened to me about a month ago. After I recovered from the virus, I got a letter from the Department of Health in Georgia asking if I would consider donating my plasma. I called to set up an appointment, but when they learned I was also gay, they said that I couldn't participate. The FDA has prevented gay men from donating plasma for decades in response to the HIV/AIDS epidemic in the 1980s. HIV testing, though, has since then drastically improved, and the vast majority of the medical community, including the American Medical Association, disagrees with the FDA. Jeff Graham with Georgia Equality, an LGBTQ advocacy organization, says the policy is discriminatory.
It makes no sense whatsoever. Again, especially at a time that we do need all hands on deck. We need scientists to be able to have access to the resources that they need.
Earlier this month, the FDA relaxed its rules to allow gay men to donate if they abstain from sex for 3 months. Advocates say that doesn't make any sense because they're not asking heterosexual men to do the same.
Cobb County made the decision this week to reopen some parks and trails, along with the popular Silver Comet Trail. Cobb County will open 2 other trails and 14 parks where they feel people will be able to social distance. Commission Chairman Mike Boyce says 6 weeks into the pandemic, they have a better understanding of what can be done to mitigate the spread, and they want to give some freedom back to their residents where they can.
The other part is that people have been, locked up in their homes for a long time. And you don't want to put themselves in a position where they all become civilly disobedient because we put restrictions on their lives that are just absolutely unenforceable and unreasonable. So at government level, we try to find a balance.
Cobb County was one of the most aggressive in Georgia when it came to shutting down, as cities like Atlanta face criticism for keeping their parks and the Beltline open.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Trackers. If you see my phone here on the screen, that's because I'm also doing a Facebook Live. We have over 200 people on a Friday night. I love it, how they're spending their Friday night with the weather guy. We're talking about weather, having fun, talking about the pronunciation of Resaca up in northwest Georgia, and just having a good time. And a lot of people are asking about what to expect for the weekend, so I'm going to break that down for you. If you're watching on TV right now, and you want to ask some questions, go to my Facebook page, Chris Holcomb 11Alive, and join these 200+ people in that conversation. I'll be answering some more comments after I finish this weather. First, though, I left you with this just a second ago, showing how we are fine now, but we have showers and storms that are out to the west, and they're severe. A tornado watch for parts of Texas, a really small sliver of Louisiana, Arkansas, and parts of Oklahoma, and then severe storms in that line moving into Missouri. This system is pushing to the east. However, it is going to weaken by the time it moves into our area. Look at these risks for tonight. We have an enhanced risk, or a level 3 of 5 risk, and that's where you see those storms that are developing right now. Well, as it moves to the east, it's going to weaken, and I really am not overly impressed with our chance for any substantial rain this weekend or even for severe weather. The Storm Prediction Center, though, has much of North Georgia roughly along the line of I-20 northward in this marginal risk. That's the level 1 of 5 risk, meaning we can have some isolated storms that develop here, and there won't be a lot of them, but the ones that develop have the chance to be strong with some winds, heavy rain, or maybe even some small hail. I really am not worried about a big-time tornado risk with this. Look at these temperatures out there right now. 65 in Atlanta, but it is a little cooler on the south side, lower 60s in Peachtree City and Covington, even 58 in LaGrange. On the west side in Carrollton, 59, lower 60s up in the north metro counties too. And we'll watch these temperatures tonight after midnight falling through those 50s. And it's going to be cool in the morning, not frigid, but down to about 53 degrees. And in the afternoon tomorrow, look at this. We're going to be up to near 80, 79 degrees for a high temperature. We're going with a 7 on the wasometer because we have that 30% chance for some scattered showers. Here's the forecast track. This will make you feel a little bit better if you're really concerned about a big time severe weather tomorrow. At noon, not much going on. We're going to have a mix of sun and clouds. And that system, the bulk of it, the energy with that is going to move up north of us. But we'll see a couple of showers developing mainly over North Georgia. I don't really think we'll see much here in Atlanta. And again, any of those that develop could turn strong. And then Sunday, another day with a mixture of sunshine and clouds. Not really much of a rain chance here. Maybe up in North Georgia, a couple of spotty showers there, but I do think we'll stay dry here. And then heading into next week, the first part of the week looks like it's going to be dry. This is on Tuesday, not much in the rain chance, but by Wednesday, another system pushes our way. That is not only going to give us some rain, but maybe even the chance for some thunderstorms with that on Wednesday. So here's your forecast. Saturday, 30% chance for showers, warm near 80, 71 Sunday, 72 Monday, with mostly sunny skies. A few clouds build in Tuesday, and then Wednesday we have those showers, a couple of thunderstorms possible, and then drying out again Thursday and Friday with high temperatures pretty much settling there in the mid-70s for the end of the week.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris. For the second week in a row, hundreds of cars waited in line for free food at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. The drive is intended to help those in need and was organized by AMS, Hampton Elementary, and the Atlanta Community Food Bank. Eligible families could receive up to 40 pounds of food. Last week, more than 13,000 meals were distributed. Demand was so high they had to turn some folks away, so this week they tried to double the amount of food they had on hand. By the way, Publix is also doing its part to give back to the community. Today, the company delivered more than 1,700 gallons of milk to the Atlanta Community Food Bank. Publix says they see it as a win-win situation, offering help to people struggling to feed their families and helping farmers who've been forced to dump milk due to a drop in demand. And because of this virus, Meals on Wheels is scaling back its deliveries across Atlanta. The organization is only delivering food to senior citizens once a week, and that is on Saturday. For the safety of the volunteers, they are no longer permitted to come in direct contact with those seniors while they're delivering that food.
We really rely on our volunteers. So every Saturday, we have about 100, 125 volunteers that start delivering at 7:30 a.m. And we've created this great drive-through concept where the volunteers show up, they get their route sheets, they loop around our building, and then we load the food literally in their trunk. We give them masks, gloves, and they're off. So it's really like a drive.
According to Baker, volunteers are still able to deliver about 15,000 meals every Saturday.
Next on Primetime, DIY cures of the coronavirus. Our Verify team is here to separate fact from fiction and keep you safe after the break. Atlanta's biggest trials and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
The Verify team is here to shut down misinformation on social media, and we've been busy. Our inbox has been filling up with questions about some of these do-it-yourself remedies that are spreading online. So let's take a look at two of these viral claims to find out if they're true. Question 1. Let's verify, will drinking hot lemon water with baking soda kill the virus? To find out, we contacted one of our sources, a microbiology expert at the George Washington University School of Medicine and Health Sciences. He tells us that coronavirus attacks your respiratory system as a whole, including the cells in your throat. And lemon water just doesn't have the power to reverse that.
A free-floating virus at that point in the throat is very, very little. The most of the virus is inside the cells. The drink cannot penetrate in the cells and kill the virus.
We also looked to the CDC and the WHO, neither of which had any evidence that this would work. So we can verify, This one is false. Okay, what about this online claim? Does blow drying your nostrils kill the virus? This might sound a little out there, but online people are swearing that this works. Our expert says no. He says that would not be an effective way to kill the virus, and neither the CDC nor the WHO have pegged this as a possible treatment. The CDC says the best way to protect yourself is to stick to the basics. Wash your hands with soap and water, use hand sanitizer, avoid touching your face, and practice social distancing.
If you have something you want us to verify, send it to us on Facebook, Twitter, or email verify@11alive.com.
Straight ahead, an Atlanta nursing home resident battling COVID-19. Next on Primetime, an exclusive 11Alive investigation into her family's struggle to see if she is safe.
Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth.
As COVID-19 testing becomes more available in our state in Georgia, infections are on the rise in long-term care facilities. Look at this. As of Wednesday, at least 185 nursing homes have had active cases in our state. And you look at this new data right here, folks, from this week. Nearly 2,400 people who live in these facilities have tested positive. About 1,200 staff members at these centers have also tested positive, and about 360 residents have died from the virus. In an 11Alive exclusive Reveal investigation, Andy Parati explains why the pandemic could make it really difficult for families to hold these facilities accountable.
Hattie Lester's family says she's the social butterfly of the Sadie Mays Rehabilitation Center.
And she talks to everybody, so everybody knows Miss Lester.
Natasha Miller is her daughter. The Atlanta facility quarantined residents to their rooms in mid-March in response to the pandemic. But her 57-year-old mother told her she was still allowed to walk the halls. A short time later, Miss Lester developed a cough, and then there were rumors an employee contracted the coronavirus.
And I said, what? And I said, well, nobody's called me.
About a week later, Miller did get a call. News she was dreading left on a 15-second voicemail.
Hello, this is Pam from St. Julie, calling to inform you that Miss Lester has been moved to Area C because she tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. You can give us a call back. Thank you.
At least 30 other residents tested positive.
She panicked, she freaked out, she was crying uncontrollably.
Miss Lester suffers from diabetes, liver problems, and mental illness.
Knowing that your mom has this and she has pre-existing conditions, what's going through your mind right now?
Is my mom gonna be okay? Is she gonna make it? Because I can't get down there. I can't get a clear answer. Like, what's really going on with her?
Sadie Mays is managed by Pruitt Health. It's the largest nursing home provider in the state. At least 17 of its 100-plus facilities have active COVID-19 cases. Neil Pruitt is its CEO.
You know, first of all, our heart goes out to anyone who's suffering from this terrible virus.
Pruitt has developed an online portal for the public to identify the number of positive COVID patients, pending tests, and those who have recovered at each facility.
So when you see the numbers appear on our website, to us, that's a good thing. That gives us the tools we need to fight this virus.
I give a double thumbs up to Pruitt for what they're accomplishing.
Brian Lee is the executive director of Families for Better Care, an advocacy organization.
I think that people should follow their lead. I think all providers should follow their lead. I mean, really, they should have nothing to hide.
While Lee praises Pruitt's coronavirus transparency numbers, he's still worried about resident safety. Georgia has suspended annual nursing home inspections, family visitations, and most facilities are struggling with severe staffing shortages.
All of that combined has been kind of a recipe for disaster in these places right now.
If families do suspect neglect, it could be difficult to seek damages. Last week, Georgia's governor signed an executive order limiting the type of lawsuits that can be filed against nursing homes. Trial attorneys believe it makes owners immune to accountability.
I couldn't believe it, that they would seize on an opportunity during the middle of this crisis to make that kind of a petition for their own self-preservation.
Did you personally reach out to the governor's office requesting that?
I think all healthcare providers are requesting that in every single state that we operate in.
I just want them to be honest and that they're gonna do their best to make sure that nobody dies from this disease.
At last check, Miss Lester was on the mend. Georgia nursing homes are still admitting new residents inside their facilities during the pandemic. Pruitt treating those people as if they had the virus. The company has also ordered about 4,000 antibody tests that they hope will help them identify who's had the virus. For a complete list of the CDC guidelines your nursing home should be following, go to this story on 11alive.com.
An orthodontist out of Cumming is doing whatever he can to help doctors and nurses around the globe. We are talking about Dr. Mark Cossey. He says more than 1 million people have visited his website, and people in 20 different countries have downloaded a template to make these 3D masks. It's inspired professors, preachers, and parents to get involved.
When you're so disconnected, be watching everything and feel like you can't do anything to help. And so it gives some purpose for us.
Tonight on Up Late, on our sister station 11Alive, a special delivery to a hospital in Northeast Georgia, and a look at how a simple question created a supply chain filled with love.
As businesses reopen across Georgia, the state is still working to improve in 2 categories top health officials say will slow the spread of COVID-19. We're talking about testing and contact tracing. To ramp up testing today, the state opened 3 new Metro Atlanta drive-through testing clinics. To get tested, you have to be screened first. You can find details on how to do that on 11alive.com. Another big part of reopening focuses on contact tracing. Joe Hankey spoke with 2 people helping with that effort to see where we stand right now.
Contact tracing is an instrument that we use very regularly within epidemiology.
to track potential exposures, potential transmissions.
Sean Baer is an epidemiologist with the Georgia Department of Public Health based in Savannah. He is working around the clock currently on contact tracing. Rebecca DiCarlo is a DPH intern and med student with the Medical College of Georgia at Augusta University. She began working on contact tracing for COVID-19 a month ago.
This is a way that we can kind of still be involved and give back and be a part of something that can hopefully help relieve some of the disease burden on the hospitals.
Before COVID-19, the state used contact tracing, for example, with STDs, HIV, or TB. For COVID-19, it is estimated one person can infect up to 2 to 3 people. Once an infected person is identified and isolated, contact tracers follow up, identify and talk with anyone they made contact with, work to have those people quarantined and then tested.
Some individuals have really followed the public health precautions and sheltered in place, stayed at home, and that makes contact tracing very, very easy.
Individual cases can vary widely.
It can range anywhere from 30 minutes to a full day of work, and sometimes multiple days, depending on the level of exposure.
For COVID-19, the state is using contact tracing statewide across its 18 health districts. The number of tracers per district varies widely depending on the number of confirmed cases. Baer says his district has 30 to 40 people trained, with more waiting if needed. The state is also working with tech companies Google and MTX on a tracing app to speed up the tracing process. Currently, more qualified volunteers are being hired as contact tracing interns statewide as the state aims to ramp up its efforts. As one of the newly hired interns, DiCarlo says it's a role med students can easily adapt to because of their education.
I can train a med student to kind of incorporate themselves in our team in 15, 20 minutes.
Governor Kemp has said that we should see another surge. Should we see another surge in cases, the state could consider putting more restrictions back in place or tighten existing measures. It is an example of what some call the hammer and dance method. The hammer is the immediate strict implementation measures to learn more about the virus and control it, like the governor's shelter-in-place order and enforcement of social distancing to help control the virus. But as places start to reopen, experts say seeing more cases will be inevitable. The governor has said that too. That's when the dance phase begins. Balance what is open, but also taking steps to slow the spread of the virus.
You're still going to have to possibly quarantine segments of the population if you get a big enough outbreak. So you're exactly right. I think we will see ebbs and flows if this rears its head again.
Governor Kemp said Monday that the state would be doing all of these things, including keeping an eye on hotspots like Dougherty County. But some experts say you can't properly track the virus if you open too many places at once.
To open things in one go, you have no idea what the repercussions are going to be because everything's happening together. And then in hospital, you become ill after that. So there's that time lag, and then the deaths happen a week or 2 weeks after that. So you've got to be aware at an early stage if you start to see signs that these things are going up, and then rein it in.
Some countries like South Korea and Singapore have already started rolling out the dance phase, but they have done so by having efficient testing, contact tracing, travel bans, isolating, and quarantining. And even with all those measures, Singapore announced Tuesday it would extend its lockdown another 3 weeks after seeing a surge in new cases.
Last half hour, we were talking about these storms out to the west developing and moving to the east. Since we last talked, there's a new severe thunderstorm watch issued ahead of that line. Stay with us. We'll break down what happens as that system moves closer to Georgia.
Some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
"11Alive is where Atlanta speaks. Tonight, Latasha Givens is giving you a chance to weigh in on the governor's decision to reopen some businesses.
We want to make sure you had a voice in the conversation, so we set up a Google voicemail line for viewer messages. Here's what some of you had to say.
Hi, I would just like to say that I'm totally furious about Kemp opening the businesses now.
If you're supposed to recognize social distancing, how are you going to do that in a barber shop, a tattoo parlor, massage, beauty salon? That makes absolutely no sense.
What does it profit you to go back to work early and lose your life?
Hi, my name is Shawan Lewis Harvey, and I'm calling from Lithonia, Georgia. Not only is he putting numerous lives in jeopardy, he is also causing people to have a false hope as to actually what this disease is and what it is doing to people and to families.
Help me understand why we cannot survive without bowling alleys and hair salons.
This is a time when so many people are dying, and it's not like you can get them back.
My name is Karen.
The hospitals are overrun. The healthcare workers that are there are exhausted and are dying.
As a healthcare provider, a registered nurse, I find the governor's decision to open the businesses that he chose first very disrespectful to the healthcare profession for giving up our lives to take care of these sick patients.
I do have empathy for the people that are unemployed, but I also would rather be alive and just be aware of programs that these people can take advantage of. And I pray for them.
And we want to include your voice in the conversation about reopening Georgia. Call us and leave a message at 678-765-9514. Make sure to tell us your name, where you're from, and the best way for us to contact you. We may include parts of your message on air.
We continue to track those showers and storms that are over to the west of us right now. Last half hour, we were talking about the tornado watch that's in effect for parts of Texas, also a little bit of Oklahoma into Arkansas, and also parts of Louisiana. Now ahead of that line, they've issued a new severe thunderstorm watch for the rest, really, of Arkansas and parts of northern Louisiana. We have a tornado warning there in the far eastern parts of Texas, about to cross the line, across over the state line. Now, these storms are pretty strong. We have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings along to the north of that as well. and they are moving over toward the east. The deal is, though, tonight, that severe weather threat is going to stay well out to the west, and it's that enhanced risk, the level 3 risk, in those same areas where you see those storms that are developing right now. They are going to be moving more over to the east, but as they move to the east, we're expecting them to weaken. So for tomorrow, you see that the yellow color and the tan color, the level 2 and the level 3 risk levels, have gone away, but it still holds on to a level 1 risk, or the marginal risk. And it does extend into Georgia, pretty much along I-20 and northward. That's where we see that risk level here. That is a very low risk. Now, we really don't think we're going to see a lot of showers at all. It's not going to be a widespread severe weather system or anything. But the few showers that develop, it is possible that some of those could get strong with some strong winds, heavy rain, or maybe even some small hail in association with that. Now, the pollen count today went at great. You know, we were just talking on Facebook Live a little while ago. People were asking about the pollen count. Only 39, still considered in the moderate range. The main pollens present are pine, oak, hickory, ash, and birch. And then we have grass is low, weeds are low, mold is in the moderate range out there too. And the trend this week has been pretty nice. We started on Tuesday with a pollen count of 122. We went up Wednesday to 345, then back down Thursday to 84. Today, only 39. So I do think we passed the peak, of course, for pollen, but we're still going to have some of these counts around. And it all depends on what your allergen is, whether or not you're dealing with some issues from it. So even though we have a low pollen count right now, if you're allergic to birch, you're feeling it right now. All right, high today was 72. We should be around 75 this time of year, and that surplus for rain right there, about over 14.5 inches above where we should be in rainfall for the year. Temperature's really nice right now, mid-60s, lower 60s on the south side, some 50s over to the west. So we do have a wide range of temperatures around. Through the day tomorrow, we're going to watch these temperatures starting in the 50s, then by 9 we're in the 60s, moving up though close to 80 degrees for a high tomorrow. We don't really see any raindrop symbols here on this map. I really think those better rain chances are going to be north of Atlanta. So here's the headlines. Storms mainly north on Saturday. It'll be cooler on Sunday, and then showers are going to return to our area once we get toward the middle of the week. So here's that 7-day outlook with that 30% chance for showers, and again, that's mainly up to the north of us. Highs near 79 degrees, then cooler Sunday, mix of sun and clouds, and 71. 72 Monday. A pretty cool start Monday at 48 with mostly sunny skies. Clouds build in Tuesday, scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms by Wednesday, and then we clear out Thursday and Friday with those high temperatures pretty much settling in the mid-70s.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris. You know, even though the Forsyth County Animal Shelter is shut down, they've had a record number of pets adopted. As a matter of fact, they're now reporting the lowest pet population ever.
The most we've ever had fostered, as well as the lowest census we've ever had. Crazily, we only have like 8 dogs in the shelter. We got the shelter in place order to minimize contact. We went to a foster to adopt program. So that, again, minimizes contact with like taking money and payment. So in essence, it's an adoption. We still maintain ownership of the animal, predominantly to minimize the contact between staff and the family. We have, I think, 22 animals in foster. People, like I will say the community, like during all of this has like really stepped up. We have people that are like more apt to help now. And I think too, because people are home and they're working from home, they have more time. So it's a perfect time to add a pet to your house to get that transition period. Because, you know, sometimes it's a little rough to find your groove with your new pet. So this way they have that time to make it work.
So to find out what you can do to adopt a pet, just head over to mycomingnews.com. You know, there's a local company that says that doing nothing is not an option. They are now getting healthcare workers the supplies that they need. Mud Pie is a gifting company that sources merchandise from all over the globe. With the help of their contacts in China, they've secured more than 50,000 N95 masks for frontline workers.
It's been heartwarming. It's also broken my heart to hear of doctors' offices with 10 doctors who have 5 masks. But hopefully we've been able to protect some people in this fight.
So just let us know the good things that are happening in your community. Use the hashtag #SendTheLoveATL or email us. We're Atlanta Speaks at 11alive.com.
President Trump called his comments about ingesting disinfectants sarcasm. Next on Primetime, our verified team confirms whether or not this is a safe practice.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate.
Did President Trump suggest injecting household disinfectants to fight the coronavirus? He did. He claims his comments were sarcasm. Can we inject household disinfectants to fight the virus? There is confusion about this question after statements from President Trump Thursday. We've had our verified team breaking down what he said and whether this is a safe practice.
Dozens of articles have claimed that President Trump suggested people could inject disinfectant to combat the coronavirus. There are two questions we want to verify. First, did the president say this? And second, is this actually safe? Let's start with the press conference Thursday. Before the clip in question, DHS Secretary William Bryan presented new research about bleach and isopropyl alcohol killing the coronavirus. Shortly after, President Trump said this.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me.
So yes, we can verify President Trump did talk about injecting disinfectants. But it's important to note, later in the same briefing, the president clarified with this.
So it wouldn't be through injection. We're talking about almost a cleaning, sterilization of an area. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work.
And on Friday, he told reporters the comment was made sarcastically.
Interior-wise, it said sarcastically. It was put in the form of a question.
So some conflicting statements about injecting disinfectants. We can't verify what the president meant to say. What we can verify is whether it's safe to inject disinfectants or use them internally. The answer is no. The makers of Lysol, Reckitt Benckiser, put out a statement that, quote, under no circumstance should their disinfectants be used internally. And the American Cleaning Institute, an association of more than 100 manufacturers, said disinfectants should be used on hard surfaces only, not ingested, injected, or used on the skin. The EPA has a list of cleaners that are known to destroy the coronavirus. They say to follow the labels on cleaners for safe use and that the cleaners are, quote, for use on surfaces, not humans. Bottom line, there might be debate over what the president meant, but one thing is definitely clear. You should not inject or ingest disinfectants under any circumstance.
We're watching the conditions over the weekend with some rain moving in from the west. It's going to be falling apart, though, as it moves in. Just a 30% chance for showers north. The high's really warm, near 80 tomorrow. 71 Sunday with a mix of sun and clouds. Nice dry conditions Monday and Tuesday before the showers return Wednesday. Could see some storms with that before drying out again by the end of the week.
All right, thanks, Chris. We'll see you on our sister station, 11Alive at 11. For now, Primetime is on.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases.
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
Tonight at 10, a passionate plea from a teenage girl to Governor Kemp. Her letter to him coming up.
And President Trump is now backtracking about suggesting people inject themselves with disinfectant to cure COVID-19.
Plus, an Atlanta native who was the first known U.S. service member diagnosed with COVID-19, he shares his story.
But first tonight, gyms, hair and nail salons, and bowling alleys reopened today across the state. People trickled into several businesses wearing masks and practicing social distancing when possible. It seems as if some people didn't mind letting their guard down, Jeff.
But not everybody was back in business. Coming up, Natisha Lance will show us who stayed open and who remained closed.
The state gives a long list of rules for businesses to reopen. Some you already know, like sanitizing things between customers or members. Others aren't so obvious. For example, at dine-in restaurants, masks will be required for all employees. Salad bars and buffets will be discontinued. Also, no drink machines and tableware that customers can grab. At hair salons and tattoo parlors, the state wants it to be appointment only, and customers have to wait outside. Employees must wear personal protective equipment as available in workstations that are at least 10 feet apart. There are also guidelines for daycare centers, bowling alleys, and fitness centers. You can find it all on 11alive.com.
Today, President Trump reiterated that he did not okay Governor Kemp's decision to start reopening businesses. He says Georgia should have gone slower. Among Governor Kemp's supporters, though, both Georgia U.S. Senators Kelly Loeffler and U.S. Senator David Perdue, and they say it is time to get the economy going again.
I'm John Sherry. Her eyes are on the future, on football this fall, on all of life opening up again for everyone, being with her friends again during what will be her first year at Parkview High School in Gwinnett County and her sister's senior year.
Dear Governor Kemp,
But she is certain
my name is Lauren Chancey.
Georgia Governor Brian Kemp should not have let the state start to reopen now.
It is insulting to healthcare workers.
So Lauren Chancey, 14 years old, wrote Governor Kemp a letter, mailed it, and she read it to me. She tells him, a governor she admires, he's wrong on this one.
By reopening the state, this will extend the pandemic all the way to the start of next year. Do us all a favor and close the state. Sincerely, Lauren Chancey. And I would like the governor to hear me out and just think of what could happen because of this and the consequences.
Lauren's mother, Jenny, proud of her for speaking her
I
mind.
think she's just expressing really from the eyes of a 14-year-old what this could mean. Because, you know, the kids are hearing things like this could extend into the next school year.
We asked the governor's office for comment and asked if any teens have written him supporting the decision to reopen. Haven't heard back yet.
Even if the governor doesn't change his decision, I think people should stay at home just because it's what's best for the state.
One perspective from one student trying to help as best she can.
Sincerely, Lauren Chancey.
Save everyone's future.
The state says it's working to set up and improve measures that could help slow the spread of COVID-19. Contact tracing and more testing. Today, the state, along with Augusta University and the National Guard, opened 3 new Metro Atlanta drive-through testing clinics. You have to be screened first. Results are expected in 72 hours or less. The state also continues to search for more people to work as contact tracers. Contact tracing involves talking with everyone who recently came in contact with an infected person. The goal is to have those people quarantined and tested. The Georgia Department of Public Health has a team of epidemiologists across the state who've already used contact tracing for STDs, HIV, and other viruses. Now they're hiring college students or grads in medical fields as interns to be trained as contact tracers.
Some individuals have really followed the public health precautions and sheltered in place, stayed at home. And that makes contact tracing very, very easy because the opportunities for transmission of the virus are very, very few.
Each case can take anywhere from 30 minutes to more than a day to investigate. The state has not released numbers on how many tracers they currently have or want to hire.
I'm Ryan Kruger. The race is on to find a vaccine for COVID-19, and one of the front runners is a UGA professor who's getting a little help from our four-legged friends. If you've ever gone out of town and boarded your dog, surely you've heard of kennel cough. It's when dogs sound like they're choking on something. Dr. Biao He from UGA's College of Veterinary Medicine has been working for the last 5 years to develop a vaccine originally intended for animals, but it turns out it might just work in humans for COVID-19.
We are
We have been working on similar virus and the vaccine for so long, so we can almost plug and play.
The largest university in the state is empty. The only research allowed on campus right now is for COVID-19. Dr. He says early tests are showing tremendous results.
And one of the nice things about the vaccine we have, or we're developing, is that it can be produced very quickly, and it can also be produced very inexpensively.
And Dr. He says he's hoping to begin clinical trials on humans at the end of the year, although he admits a lot more testing has to be done before any kind of vaccine is approved.
That is Ryan Kruger reporting for us tonight, and Ryan continues to follow the COVID-19 story wherever he goes. And again, let's reiterate what he just said, that there are still several more phases that have to be done after that.
I was asking a very sarcastic question to the reporters in the room about disinfectant on the inside.
So President Trump now backtracking his comments about possibly using disinfectant to cure COVID-19.
Is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning that you're going to have to use medical doctors with? But it sounds interesting to me.
Okay, the president also suggested exposing the human body to internal light and heat as a possible treatment. His task force coordinator, Dr. Deborah Birx, said she's seeing no evidence that that would work.
Today, the president signed off on a $484 billion coronavirus relief bill. It includes $320 billion for the Paycheck Protection Program for small businesses after that program ran out of money 2 weeks after it launched the last time. This bill also sets aside money for businesses that don't have established relationships with the bank. Many minority-owned businesses saying that they were being shut out of the fund for that reason. It also includes money and testing for hospitals. Money for state and local governments was not included in the bill. It is something Democrats wanted. President Trump says he is open to the idea of giving states some relief, but he noted some states had budget problems before the pandemic started. Our state, Georgia, is one of them. Back in August, Governor Kemp had already asked state agencies to find a way to cut their spending to make up for a shortfall. And with 1 in 10 Georgians now filing for unemployment, there could soon be even more of a strain. Department of Labor Commissioner Mark Butler saying at this rate, we could run out of unemployment benefit reserves in the next 6 months. Both parties have said this new bill is an interim fix, meaning more extensive relief legislation could be on the way. After the break, a nurse from Atlanta working in New York hospitals talks about what she's experiencing, what she's disappointed in Governor Kemp's decision.
And we're watching those showers and storms to the west that are moving toward the east. Stay with us. We're going to let you know if this severe weather is going to hold together to make it to Georgia.
Disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation.
New at 10, a soldier from Atlanta, the first known U.S. service member to test positive for COVID-19. Army Specialist Deontay Chappelle is now currently stationed at Camp Carroll in South Korea. In February, the 23-year-old tested positive for the virus, and Chappelle says his Army training prepared him to stay resilient through his illness.
So yeah, it definitely prepped me to just keep level-headed and not think worst case scenario. I didn't let what was going on in the media make me think the worst.
Well, here's the great news. He's now recovered, but his wife and his baby girl also have tested positive for COVID. 11Alive has reached out to the soldier to see how they are doing. We are still waiting to hear back.
An Atlanta native volunteering in New York City Hospital says she's seeing 10 to 12 people die a night, with the bodies being placed in semi-trucks new tonight. She talked to Hope Ford about what she's experiencing and why she is upset at Governor Kemp's decision.
One of them passed at 8:04 in the morning. My shift ends at 8 a.m.
Heather Eisdorfer is one of thousands of healthcare workers volunteering in New York hospitals. She posted this video on Instagram after losing a patient she cared for.
I was right there when his heart rhythm changed and I started chest compressions on him.
Since arriving in Brooklyn, she's worked 22 nights in a row. She talked to me Friday on one of her 2 off days before she heads back for another 3 weeks of work.
Seeing 10 to 12 people pass a night by themselves is very disheartening. It's awful.
Heather is working at a hospital where more than 90% of patients have tested positive for the virus. She says admissions have gone down, but the death rate is still the same. These pictures she sent me show semi-trucks parked behind the hospital. It's where the hospital places deceased patients after morgues fill up. Each one can hold 100 bodies.
Almost reminds me of that Holocaust picture with bunkers.
Because of what she's witnessing, she says she doesn't understand or agree with Governor Kemp's order to reopen her home state.
I think it's a very selfish decision, and we're not as bad, but we still have so many cases in Georgia that we can't play around with this.
Heather hopes Georgians choose for themselves and keep non-essential businesses closed just a little longer.
Don't rip the Band-Aid off so soon. Let it heal. Let us heal.
Hope Ford joins us now from home tonight. So Hope, medical supplies and PPEs, we know they've dwindled in a lot of places. So what did Heather tell you about her experience with PPEs there in New York?
Well, originally, healthcare workers were getting 1 mask per day. Now she says they'll have to re-wear the same mask for at least a week. And she says that's one of her concerns about businesses reopening, is if they're ordering the supplies and the PPEs they need to reopen, it'll take it away from those healthcare workers that desperately need them.
All right, very unique perspective from those healthcare workers on the front lines. We wish them the very best. Thank you, Hope.
Several businesses across Georgia reopened today, and plenty of people did not mind letting their guard down. Letitia Lance shows us who stayed open and who remained closed.
On a regular Friday night, this parking lot would be packed. Midtown Bowl is a place that could have reopened today, but its owners said it was just too soon for them. But doors did reopen for many businesses across Georgia. It's an inkling that we might be moving closer to life before coronavirus, but today's reopenings were anything but normal.
Using masks, we're interchanging gloves and masks after each cut. We're wiping down the seats with bleach.
Gloves and mask greeted customers at Crazy Cuts in Norcross as they sat for fresh cuts. Co-owner Kane McKinley says his decision to reopen came down to one thing.
Bottom line, we got to pay the bills.
Maintaining a social distance in a hands-on surface proved to be challenging. McKinley said chairs were about 3 feet apart, but he plans to adjust the space more in the future.
We've got seating out here for everybody. We have the questionnaires. We'll be taking temperatures at the door.
In Buckhead, Andrea Vanderham also opened her salon with caution. And Van Michael Salon absolved itself of any responsibility if clients catch COVID-19. It sent a 2-page email to customers, letting them know they would have to sign a liability waiver before any services. Other businesses felt there were too many unanswered questions to open just yet.
Questions that we have are, what is the best way to protect yourself, to protect the surfaces around you?
Midtown Bowl posted this notice on its website, saying opening now would not ensure operational standards would be met.
All right, Natisha Lance reporting for us tonight. Rain, go away, at least for Saturday, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb with our weekend forecast. A little bit wet tomorrow, Chris?
You know, we're watching the system to the west, but it's not going to be a washout. Our rain chance tomorrow is only 30%. I really think we're going to have a lot of dry hours tomorrow and just a few isolated showers, and those chances are actually going to be higher up in parts of North Georgia. Here's the system that we're watching right now. Big-time storms going through parts of East Texas into Louisiana, Arkansas, southern Missouri here, coming out of Oklahoma. We've got a tornado watch in effect, even a tornado warning right there on the Texas state line. And then we also have a severe thunderstorm watch over the rest of Arkansas and Louisiana. Why do we care about that? Well, that system is going to be moving our way. But here's the good news. We think it's going to be a lot weaker before it gets into our area. That storm risk tonight is out to the west. And what you see there, where you saw those watches that are in effect along with that line, that's where we have an enhanced risk, a level 3 of 5 risk. And that is out to the west tonight. We don't have to worry about that in our area tonight. As the system moves to the east, instead of strengthening, we think it's going to weaken. And you see no more yellow colors, no more of the tan color, no level 2 or 3 risk. It goes down to a marginal risk, but it does extend into Georgia, pretty much along I-20 and northward. Not really many showers developing, but the ones that develop, it is possible that we could see some winds out of it, heavy rain, and maybe some small hail. Those would be the main threats with this, not really a tornado threat. And I really think those threats are going to be more up into far north Georgia. Temperatures right now, not bad. If you've been out this evening, out in the backyard or walking through the neighborhood, you probably felt that breeze out there a little bit, and it's kind of cool at times with some of those breezes. We're 63 here, but outside the city, it's cooler, especially west and south of the city. Duluth is still 63. Athens is still 63. We have lower 60s in Gainesville, but a lot of the other cities are actually moving down into the 50s. And we're going to watch that trend continue tonight. We will drop into the 50s by midnight and then holding those 50s overnight, moving down into the low and mid 50s here in the morning. But we will see a few clouds diminishing tonight and then redeveloping during the morning hours tomorrow, starting off at 53. And then look at that warm air tomorrow afternoon, getting up to 80 degrees for a high temperature. We're going to go with a 7 on the wasometer. That's our scale from 1 to 11, where an 11 is a perfect day. And a 7, not too bad. We're just going to see that mix of sun and clouds and just a few of those isolated showers popping up. Again, that rain chance only 30%. And really, this model is not showing a lot of rain here for tomorrow. This is at noon. I have that southerly flow warming us up, a mixture of sunshine and clouds. That main system from the west, is the main energy of that is going to be to the north of us, but we will see some scattered showers that'll pop up here. And any of these that develop could be strong, again, with a little bit of that heavy rain, some gusty winds, and maybe some small hail. But we don't think this is going to be a widespread severe weather event. And really, a lot of us are going to make it through the day tomorrow with no rain at all. Once we get into Sunday, mix of sun and clouds once again, maybe a couple of showers in North Georgia, but we don't expect any here in the metro Atlanta area. So here's that 7-day outlook where you see that lower rain chance at 30% on Saturday. Warm at 79, and then cooler Sunday, mix of sun and clouds in 71, 72 Monday. That's after a morning low of 48. It's going to be a cool start Monday morning with highs near 72, warming to 77 Tuesday. Then you see those scattered showers that'll develop here on Wednesday, then drying out for the end of the week with highs in the mid 70s. Here's your weather wow moment of the day. Check this out, folks. An apparent funnel cloud in southwest Georgia caught on camera yesterday. This is from the Pelham, Georgia area. You can see the dark clouds forming there to the left, and then what appears to be a tornado forms straight ahead. That is something that I would not want to be taking pictures of. We would love for you to be a part of our 11Alive community storm trackers. That's where we get a lot of these weather wow moments. All you have to do is on Facebook, just search 11Alive storm trackers, ask to become a member of this closed group. We'll approve you, and then you can also look at and submit pictures, videos, and weather information from all around Georgia.
11Alive is where Atlanta speaks, and tonight, Latasha Givens giving you a chance to weigh in on the governor's decision to reopen some businesses.
We want to make sure you had a voice in the conversation, so we set up a Google voicemail line for viewer messages. Here's what some of you had to say.
Hi, I would just like to say that I'm totally furious about Kemp opening the businesses now.
If you're supposed to recognize social distancing, how are you going to do that in a barber shop? tattoo parlor, massage, beauty salon. That makes absolutely no sense.
What does it profit you to go back to work early and live your life?
Hi, my name is Shawan Lewis Harvey, and I'm calling from Lithonia, Georgia. Not only is he putting numerous lives in jeopardy, he is also causing people to have a false hope as to actually what this disease is and what it is doing to people and to families.
Help me understand why we cannot survive without bowling alleys and hair salons.
This is a time when so many people are dying, and it's not like you can get them back.
My name is Karen.
The hospitals are overrun. The healthcare workers that are there are exhausted and are dying.
As a healthcare provider, a registered nurse, I find the governor's decision to open the businesses that he chose first very disrespectful to the healthcare profession for giving up our lives to take care of these sick patients.
I do have empathy for the people that are unemployed, but I also would rather be alive and just be aware of the programs that these people can take advantage of. And I pray for them.
A local orthodontist is inspiring doctors and nurses all over the world how helping them make their own 3D masks, printed medical masks.
Doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both.
Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during Primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died.
An orthodontist in Cumming has sparked an effort to help doctors and nurses around the world. Dr. Mark Causey says more than 1 million people have visited his webpage, and people in 20 different countries have downloaded the template to make these 3D masks. It's inspired professors, preachers, and parents to get involved.
When you're so disconnected, be watching everything and feel like you can't do anything to help. And so it gives some purpose for us.
Tonight on Up Late, a special delivery to a hospital in Northeast Georgia and a look at how a simple question created a supply chain filled with love. All right, Jeff, time for me to head out to get ready for Upload. A lot of great stories coming up for you in about 35 minutes on 11Alive. I'll see you Monday, Jeff.
Have a great weekend. We appreciate it. Thanks. Here's what's coming up on the Big 36. An Atlanta nursing home resident battling COVID-19. After the break, an exclusive 11Alive investigation into her family's struggles to see if she is safe.
This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
As COVID-19 testing becomes more available in Georgia, infections are rising in long-term care facilities. As of Wednesday, at least 185 nursing homes had active cases in our state. And a look at new data from this week. Nearly 2,400 people who live in these facilities have tested positive. About 1,200 staff members at these centers have also tested positive. And about 360 residents have died from the virus. In an 11Alive exclusive Reveal investigation, Andy Parati explains why the pandemic could make it difficult for families to hold facilities accountable if they suspect neglect.
Sadie Lester's family says she's the social butterfly of the Sadie Mays Rehabilitation Center.
And she talks to everybody, so everybody knows Miss Lester.
Natasha Miller is her daughter. The Atlanta facility quarantined residents to their rooms in mid-March in response to the pandemic. But her 57-year-old mother told her she was still allowed to walk the halls. A short time later, Miss Lester developed a cough, and then there were rumors an employee contracted the coronavirus.
And I said, what? And I said, well, nobody's called me.
About a week later, Miller did get a call. News she was dreading left on a 15-second voicemail.
Hello, this is Pam from St. Junaid, calling to inform you that Miss Lester has been moved to Area C because she tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. You can give us a call back. Thank you.
At least 30 other residents tested positive.
She panicked, she freaked out, she was crying uncontrollably.
Miss Lester suffers from diabetes, liver problems, and mental illness.
Knowing that your mom has this and she has pre-existing conditions, what's going through your mind right now?
Is my mom gonna be okay? Is she gonna make it? Because I can't get down there. I can't get a clear answer. Like, what's really going on with her?
Sadie Mays is managed by Pruitt Health. It's the largest nursing home provider in the state. At least 17 of its 100-plus facilities have active COVID-19 cases. Neil Pruitt is its CEO.
You know, first of all, our heart goes out to anyone who's suffering from this terrible virus.
Pruitt has developed an online portal for the public to identify the number of positive COVID patients, pending tests, and those who have recovered at each facility.
So when you see the numbers appear on our website, to us, that's a good thing. That gives us the tools we need to fight this virus.
I give a double thumbs up to Pruitt for what they're accomplishing.
Brian Lee is the executive director of Families for Better Care, an advocacy organization.
I think the people should follow their lead. I think all providers should follow their lead. I mean, really, they should have nothing to hide.
While Lee praises Pruitt's coronavirus transparency numbers, he's still worried about resident safety. Georgia has suspended annual nursing home inspections, family visitations, and most facilities are struggling with severe staffing shortages.
All of that combined has been kind of a recipe for disaster in these places right now.
If families do suspect neglect, it could be difficult to seek damages. Last week, Georgia's governor signed an executive order limiting the type of lawsuits that can be filed against nursing homes. Trial attorneys believe it makes owners immune to accountability.
I couldn't believe it, that they would seize on an opportunity during the middle of this crisis to make that kind of a petition for their own self-preservation.
Did you personally reach out to the governor's office requesting that?
I think all healthcare providers are requesting that in every single state that we operate in.
I just want them to be honest and that they're gonna do their best to make sure that nobody dies from this disease.
At last check, Miss Lester was on the mend. Georgia nursing homes are still admitting new residents inside their facilities during the pandemic. Pruitt treating those people as if they had the virus. The company has also ordered about 4,000 antibody tests that they hope will help them identify who's had the virus. For a complete list of the CDC guidelines your nursing home should be following, go to this story on 11alive.com.
A warning tonight from the World Health Organization about antibody tests and immunity to COVID-19. The executive director of the agency's emergencies program says there is no evidence these tests show whether a person has developed immunity or whether they are no longer at risk of becoming infected again. The news comes as the state of New York is randomly testing for antibodies and found more than 2 million people have them. The WHO says for people who have developed immunity, they are testing how long that just might last. We have a list of the most common symptoms of coronavirus and some new ones that have appeared over the past few weeks, like lesions on hands and feet. You can find more information on 11alive.com or by downloading the 11Alive app. So many people are dealing with unprecedented financial hardships during this time. We have consulted with our financial expert, Andrew Poulos, to help you navigate through some of these very difficult situations. Viewer Tina wrote to us saying, I am self-employed. I own a hair salon. I don't think it's safe for me to reopen right now. Will I still receive my unemployment?
As long as Tina is out of work or has her business closed, she can continue to remain on unemployment. Just always remember, this is a week-to-week filing, so every week that she's not at work, she just needs to file for her claim to continue receiving unemployment. But there's nothing right now that's mandating business owners to open up or go back to work if they just don't deem it safe.
Panessa wants to know regarding the CARE Act, under what conditions can you withdraw money from your retirement account, like your 401k? Will it be taxed? Are you required to take your scheduled distribution or required minimum distributions?
There's a wide range of circumstances that qualifies you to tap into your retirement account. If you've been affected by COVID, whether you're at home quarantining, you have a loved one basically who's been affected, if you've been affected financially. So there's just a broad range, which they're all online, listed on the Treasury site. Now, as far as distributions, if you're age 70 and a half last year and you're required to take a required minimum distribution this year, that has been removed from legislation, so you don't have to take a required minimum distribution. If you pull money out of your retirement account as an early withdrawal, and normally you have the 10% penalty that would apply, that will no longer apply either, and you can take a distribution up to $100,000 between now and the end of the year without the penalty.
And finally, Samuel shared, I have been out of work for 5 weeks now, and I have not received my unemployment benefits as of yet. I was approved for $200 a week. I call, I email, no response comes my way. My PIN number was suspended and I cannot log in to claim my weekly benefits. Any thoughts, any advice?
A couple things. One, I would try to reach out to the Labor Department very early in the morning when their lines open. They're inundated with calls and emails. Of course, I think we all know that at this point. They're doing the best they can. So I would reach out early in the morning, see if you can get through. I would also reach out if you're on social media, on Twitter. Commissioner's on there, and he does a great job of responding to people and trying to help people. So I would reach out. I think it's Butler for Georgia as his Twitter handle, and I've seen folks who reach out to him who are getting help. He's trying to do the best he can along with everyone else. So try to just unconventional methods.
You can send questions for our experts anytime, and we will work to get them answered for you. You can text us at Financial, Legal, Medical. Text your questions 404-885-7600. Meals on Wheels is scaling back on its deliveries, and right now it is only able to deliver food on Saturdays, and volunteers can no longer come in contact with seniors on their delivery route. Despite the challenges, the organization says it's still finding a way to be relevant and effective.
We really rely on our volunteers. So every Saturday we have about 125 volunteers that start delivering at 7:30 a.m. And we've created this great drive-through concept where the volunteers show up, they get their route sheets, they loop around our building, and then we load the food literally in their trunk. We give them masks, gloves, and they're off. So it's really like a drive and drop.
Volunteers are still able to deliver about 15,000 meals every Saturday. Cobb County reopening some parks and trails this weekend, along with the popular Silver Comet Trail. Cobb County will open 2 other trails, 14 parks tomorrow, where people can safely practice social distancing. Commission Chairman Mike Boyce says 6 weeks into the pandemic, they have a better understanding of how to stop the spread of the virus, and they want to give people back some of their freedom.
Well, the other part is that people have been, locked up in their homes for a long time. And you don't want to put themselves in a position where they all become civilly disobedient because we put restrictions on their lives that are just absolutely unenforceable and unreasonable. So at government level, we try to find a balance.
Cobb County was one of the most aggressive in Georgia when it came to shutting down parks and trails, while cities like Atlanta faced criticism for keeping their parks and the Atlanta Beltline open.
We're watching some showers and storms out to the west. They are causing severe weather right now, and we're seeing more severe thunderstorm warnings develop along that. We'll let you know what's going to happen with this system as it moves east closer to Georgia.
More NFL draft to talk about. The Falcons' newest pick has a way with words, plus DeAndre Swift's emotional moment overshadowed. It is all next in sports.
Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Yeah, I've had a great conversation with President Trump. Also talked to the Vice President.
And I wasn't happy with it. And I wasn't happy with Brian Kemp.
President Trump saying he disagrees with the timing of opening certain businesses in Georgia. Joining me right now is the moderator of Meet the Press, Chuck Todd. Chuck, the president endorsed Brian Kemp for governor over Casey Cagle here, which was a surprise. But there was clearly a disagreement over the Senate appointment of Kelly Loeffler while the president was pushing the congressman who had supported him during impeachment, Doug Collins. Another example here of a relationship that seemingly has never really gotten off the ground from what we have seen with opening Georgia for business.
I think that's a fair way to put it. It's a reminder that sometimes presidential loyalty runs one way. And I think that what's really sort of odd about the backstory we're getting on this, Jeff, is that Governor Kemp thought he had sign-off from the president and vice president on this. And then apparently the scientists on the task force were uncomfortable with how quickly Georgia was moving, wanted to make their case to the president, then seemed to convince the president that maybe things were moving too soon. But what's unclear is why there wasn't an attempt to maybe do something behind the scenes first and instead create this sort of odd political dynamic. So, look, I think that's just par for the course when you know, as more and more people learn that loyalty with Trump sometimes is a one-way street here. But I tell you, it is certainly, I think it has caused a lot more confusion within Georgia political circles than even the disagreement that we'd already seen between, say, the governor and some of these mayors.
All right, Chuck Todd, thank you. Meet the Press Sundays, 10 a.m. right here on 11Alive. Have a great weekend. Thanks. All right, to follow a stay-at-home order, you need a home to stay in. So the city of Atlanta banned evictions for 60 days. The federal government did the same for certain housing units that accept federal money. Now, that provided peace for a while, but we are getting closer to the end of those eviction bans. Here's Christy Diaz taking a look at what happens next.
The biggest relief for renters during the coronavirus pandemic is the fact that courtrooms are closed.
Landlords are still filing evictions, but they're not being served and they're not being heard by the court at this time.
But that won't last forever. And when the ban on evictions runs out,
But we expect that there's going to be a crush of cases once that judicial emergency expires.
Aaron Willoughby with Atlanta Legal Aid says they're seeing a rise in illegal evictions.
What are the kind of calls and cases that you're seeing specifically right now?
The landlords are getting frustrated because they can't file, they can't go through the courts, so they simply tell people, I'm going to change the lock.
Of course, that's not allowed, and Aaron says they have a video explaining what to do in that situation on their website. But Georgia Apartment Association President Jim Fowler says landlords aren't always the bad guy.
Our folks aren't these greedy landlords. They're in the business of providing housing for fellow human beings. These are folks that care about mankind.
And right now, they need help too.
Apartment communities are at risk if the owners can't meet their obligations and make their payments.
And it's not good for anybody if you can't pay the mortgage, then everybody's out of a home.
That's exactly right.
Nearly 37% of households in the state are rentals. That number is more than 50 in Atlanta. And Jim says of their 400 members, anywhere from 10 to 30% are in delinquency right now. The hard truth is that everyone is struggling. And Jim says the real stress test will come May 1st.
It could get real interesting here in the next 3 weeks, depending on how many people can't pay their rent.
We expect to see an increase in the population of people who are sort of one step away from homelessness.
We've been watching those showers and storms out west very closely tonight, and we've been seeing them produce some severe thunderstorms and even some tornado warnings. There's a tornado watch that is out in parts of eastern Texas, Oklahoma, and in parts of Arkansas, and then another severe thunderstorm watch, and that's where the line is mainly moving into that new watch right here, where we have, look at all the yellow polygons. That's where we have numerous severe thunderstorm warnings out to the west. Nothing going on here. We have quiet weather, but of course, we're watching this out to the west because that system is going to start moving our way, and we are seeing the severe weather staying to the west tonight, where we have that enhanced risk. That's the tan color that you see here. But as this system moves into our direction, you'll notice here that the tan color and the yellow colors go away, and it's that dark green color which indicates the marginal risk, and that includes parts of Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, the Carolinas, and yes, even parts of North Georgia. Now, I don't want you to be overly concerned about this. We're not going to have a widespread severe weather event here on Saturday, but that system as it comes in is going to be weakening. There will be a few scattered showers along with this. I'm really thinking more in North Georgia, and a couple of those that develop could be strong. Only isolated stronger storms expected here with some wind gust, heavy rain, and possibly some small hail. I really don't think we'll even see much of that activity here in the Atlanta area. I hope you enjoyed the pollen count today. Maybe you could breathe a little bit easier as the pollen count is at 39. The main pollens present are pine, oak, hickory, ash, and birch. The grasses and the weeds are low. The mold is in the moderate range, and we've had a pretty good trend this week of lower counts. The highest that we had was 345, but then yesterday was 84, and today 39. Not bad at all. So our high temperature today was a little bit below the average. We got up to 72. The average high is 75 degrees, and we've been keeping an eye on that surplus here. Still more than a foot above where we should be in rainfall. In fact, we're just under 15 inches above where we should be in rainfall for the year. Comfortable temperatures, we're in the 60s right now. 60s also in Duluth and Athens and Gainesville and Eatonton in the 60s. Everybody else is pretty much falling into the 50s, and we will see these temperatures continue to go down tonight. By tomorrow morning, we start off in the 50s, and then we get up into the 60s at 9, and look at this. We're up to near 80 degrees tomorrow with that mix of sun and clouds, and that better rain chance is going to be up in North Georgia. So here are the headlines we're watching. The storms mainly north of us on Saturday. Cooler temperatures on Sunday, and then as we get into the middle of the week, we're going to watch another round of showers and potential storms that'll move our way. We're going to go with a 7 on the wazometer tomorrow with that high right there, close to 80 degrees in the afternoon. Then on Sunday, that mix of sunshine and clouds and cooler air. By Monday morning, look at this, we're down to 48 degrees with a high of 72. A few more clouds Tuesday, scattered showers and storms Wednesday, then clearing out, quieter, mid-70s for the end of the week.
Time for sports. We have learned the Patriots' secret. Looking into Bill Belichick's home during the draft, his dog sitting in his chair. Just do your job, dog. While the pick was announced, the coach later appeared with a treat. There we are. And he must have been a fan of the dog's choice of Kyle Duggar out of Decatur. Very nice. Falcons continued to add to their defense during the draft, adding Auburn defensive tackle Marlon Davidson. As Maria Martin tells us, he has a strong way with words.
The Falcons continue the trend of filling in a need on the defensive side of the football, and at 47 overall tonight, they pick up Marlon Davidson, a defensive lineman from Auburn University. Take it from someone that's covered Marlon at their last station. The kid can ball, and he's got a personality bigger than life. I'll let you see that for yourself.
God Almighty, it's a blessing, man. I've been praying on this moment since I was like 5 years old. I'm a versatile guy, so I can play it all. So wherever they put me at, I'm here to fit, and I'm here to stay because I'm just that versatile with my talent. The defense is going to be good next year. I promise you that. I'm coming to Atlanta, and I'm coming with everything I got in me. I'm going to give everything I can for the organization. I told them, man, I've been waiting on them forever. I'll wait on them forever. I'm glad they called. You ain't got to tell me nothing else, man. Just catch me in, call my name, and I'm coming. First flight, first ride, or whatever I can, I'm coming to Atlanta. I mean, they pulled me out the wound. I knew I was destined for greatness. You know, like, man, I'm 100% Marlon Davis. I'm 100% Cynthia Carter boy, Marlon Davis boy. I'm the best.
That's a speech, isn't it? That is great. It's wonderful to hear somebody who can express himself like that. We look forward to watching him play and listening to him on television here and radio, of course. Davidson's old teammate at Auburn is defensive tackle Derek Brown. He was drafted to Carolina Thursday night, number 7 overall. He's been one of the most touted defenders in this year's draft, getting to the backfield a lot, won a lot of awards in college. Brown, who went to Lanier High School, has heard high praise, but knows that going to the next level will be a great challenge.
I think the internet and all the Twitter DMs, it keeps me very humble. It's a lot of people saying how good I am, but it's also a lot of people telling you how bad you are. So, I appreciate the compliments for the good, but I'm focused on the bad, and I'm gonna do what I got to do to prove those people wrong.
UGA's DeAndre Swift didn't have to wait long to hear his name called after slipping from the first round. The running back was the 3rd pick of the night. Goes to the Detroit Lions. His father and the biceps of his dad, man, stole the show. ESPN showing his workout routine. Georgia high schools have been dominating the draft at one point. Xavier McKinney from Roswell, Kyle Duggar from Decatur were drafted back-to-back. Finally, the Falcons draft center Matt Hennessy out of Temple for their 3rd round pick. That is it for sports. We'll be right back.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during Primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands.
We're going to see just a few scattered showers tomorrow, mainly north of us, and it's going to be warm. Highs up to 79 degrees. A little cooler Sunday with partly cloudy skies and 71. Monday morning, back to the 40s with a high of 72, and then warming again Tuesday as clouds increase. We'll also keep an eye on Wednesday for scattered showers and some storms to develop, and then drier conditions Thursday and Friday with highs in the mid-70s.
All right, Chris, thank you. And thank you for watching. It's been quite a week, and we move into the weekend. We hope that you will continue to watch us here on the Big 36 and 11Alive as well. Speaking of, you can switch over to 11Alive right now for Up Late with Aisha and Ron.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during Primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today. Back to work, but this isn't business as usual. Now at 11, Georgia lowers its guard to return to normal, but not everyone is feeling it. And Atlanta soldier beats his battle with COVID-19. New tonight, he shares his story and the one thing that made him feel guilty. One big idea spreads across the world, only on Up Late.